What is happening, guys? My name is Jamie and today we are doing the top 20 metal album covers of 2019. So basically all the best album covers that I've seen in 2019, and I've basically ranked them from the best to the very best based on my opinion. And you know what? You may have different album covers that are not even on this video, but today I'm going to give you my top 20. Okay, so first up, let's kick off with number 20, and that is Mental Cruelty, Inferius. What an incredible album cover it is. Just look at the album cover with this entity holding up a face, and then you got Mental Cruelty's logo on the album. It's a very good album as well, but we're not really going to talk about the actual album itself. We'll talk about the actual album cover. It's like souls are trying to reach up to this entity. Like, is he Satan? Like, there are so many questions to be answered on this album. And yeah, the album kicks ass as well. Okay, so we're going on to number 19, and that is Lacuna Coil's Black Anima. What an amazing album cover this is. I just love the border, just love the logo. In the actual album cover itself, you got this sort of coin. It's sort of a dragon creature. Maybe that is a Black Anima. I love the album cover overall. The album itself is a very good album as well. I feel that the songs are really based on the actual album cover, and the album cover itself tells a massive story. At number 18, we go to I Prevail and the album Trauma. The album cover is fantastic. I love the album cover. It's so dark, it's so atmospheric as well. It's like it's doom and gloom. Like, this album is all about trauma. The lyrics overall are really based on the actual album cover. And songs such as Bow Down and Paranoid really reflect on the actual album cover itself. This person crying out and reaching out at the moment, reaching out for help maybe. And it's a great album cover. And at times, it just looks like a futuristic cover. The album itself is a good album, but there are some negatives and positives. So coming in at number 17 is, well, it was on the most disappointing album. Now it's in the best metal cover album video, and that is Sabaton, The Great War. I love this album cover. It's just fucking fantastic. It's like you have this soldier crying in his hands, and there's just war and chaos around him. The album cover speaks for itself of what the actual album is. Unfortunately, the album didn't live up to the cover, but the album cover itself is just amazing. The textures, the contrast, and just the debris within the background and the soldiers fighting. It just tells a story. A picture is worth 1,000 words. So coming in at number 16 is the band Coronti and their album Wolves of Thelema. This is a really interesting album cover it is. I really love the sort of mystical creature on the cover and just the background and how it's all contrast within black and white. It's a very interesting cover. You got bats. It's just like it's telling a story. I looked at it and I said, fuck, I want to check out this album. Unfortunately, I did, and it wasn't a very good album, in my opinion. But the album cover itself is just one of the best of 2019. It's so mysterious. You got wolves, you got different creatures, you got so many different elements within this album cover. It's just so impactful. So coming up at number 15 is the deathcore band Fit for an Autopsy and their album cover, The Sea of Tragic Beasts. This is a brilliant album cover. It is. The background, it's like a oil painting, and it's like someone has painted it, and it's such a beautiful album cover. You got a skull that has blood dripping into the ocean, attracting the beasts, tracking the monsters. It just makes you want to pick up this album and listen to it. Every time I look at this album cover, I want to listen to the whole damn fucking album, and it's just one of the best. When you look at it and you say, wow, I'm going for a ride. I'm going for a ride here. I just want to listen to it now. Looking at the cover, I want to listen to it now. And overall, it's a fantastic album. Next up is Ginger Macro. What an amazing album cover this is. You got Tatiana reaching out for this pulsating ball of energy. Ginger's going to give you a new energy on this album, which they did. Such an amazing artwork. Tatiana reaching out for that sphere. There's an objective that she's trying to achieve. And overall, the album is amazing. Great contrast between blue and black. It's just really eye-catching, this cover. Coming at number 13 is Wilder Run and the album Veil of Imagination. First of all, a fucking fantastic album this is. Very inspired by Opeth, in my opinion, such as The Unimaginable Zero Summer and O Resolution. I'm going to talk about this album later on, maybe next year. I'll do a whole review of this, whole review of Wilder Run. But let's have a look at this album. It's just fantastic. The colors, you got this sort of tree, the roots of the tree that are imprinted onto the ground, that just grows and blossoms into such a contrast of colors and flowers that just makes you want to listen to this album. It doesn't look like a metal album in my opinion. It kind of looks like a pop album. Overall, the album cover really tells you a story of what this album is going to be about. And I just love when covers do that. So next up is Blut aus Neud and their album Hallucinogen. You look at this album and you think you're going on a fucking trip, like you're on mushrooms or something, and you're just going on a trip. And you know you're going on a trip because this is a fantastic black metal album. The vocals are so damn distant. But I love the colors on this album. It's so damn good. And again, it really reminds me of Wilder Run. I don't know what they are. They kind of look like mushrooms or some mystical plant. But I love this cover. It's just one of the best. Coming in at number 11 is Monomath's Berserker. What a great cover this is. It's great artwork as well. You know what this album's going to be about. It's all going to be Vikings, and straight up you know that Monomath is a concept band about Vikings, and I just love that. Love how this person is trying to protect maybe the Berserker at Stamford Bridge. Maybe this is all about that song. But you know that this is going to be a fast and energetic album, and you know this is going to be an in-your-face album as well. The warrior, just a Viking warrior that is trying to protect himself, that is ready to fight for his people. You know this is the warrior that Monomath are talking about on this album. And I just love this album cover. Coming into our top 10 now. So number 10 is Blood Red Hourglass and the album Godsend. Look at the album cover and tell me that you do not want to listen to this album. The album cover is fantastic. If you have a great album cover, you know people are going to listen to your album without possibly even thinking. And that's like on thumbnails. If you have a great thumbnail on YouTube, people are going to click on it without any hesitation. And I just love this album cover, really do. And I picked this album up and I said, fuck, I want to listen to this album. You got this, I'd say that's Elisa. I say that's Elisa on the album cover, but you got this angel holding up like a scythe, just causing havoc. You got some birds in the background, and the contrast between the reds and the orange is just absolutely fantastic. The contrast of the white and red are just brilliant as well. Love the shading on this album cover. The overall logo right in the bottom of the cover is just brilliant. Brilliant, amazing cover this is. Okay, so coming in at number 9 is Blood Incantation's Hidden History of the Human Race. You look at this album cover and you just feel intrigued of what this album's going to be. You got this sort of alien, and you know this is sort of a cosmic theme or something like that. You got the logo, which I'm not a very big fan of the actual logo itself. But then you got these crazy entities in the background, and then you got a city in the far left. It's saying that, yeah, this is going to be a very interesting cosmic themed album. And it is. It really is. The Giza Power Plant is an amazing song, along with Awakening from the Dream of Existence. And you just look at this album cover, and you look at the lyrics of the song, and you all of a sudden you know that the album cover is related to the actual album, and you know what the actual story is about. I love albums like this. I've got to admit that Starspawn album cover by them isn't the best, but they really lifted up their game with Hidden History of the Human Race with this album cover, because it's one of the best. I love this. So coming in next is finally we got some Korn on the list, and that is The Nothing. Brilliant. This is one of the best album covers of 2019 for sure. And you got this person that is, you got wires that are shaped as a person. This image of a person that is struggling, getting pulled down by these so-called wires, tells you that this is going to be a very dark album. And this is one of Korn's best album covers in my opinion. I think it's one of their best. And the reason why I say it's one of the best is because it's so simple, but yet so effective. And even with the Korn logo, black, and everything so black and white, you know this is going to be a very deep album lyrically. And it is, I gotta say, Korn for Nothing album lyrically really, really relates to the actual album cover. That Jonathan Davis is being pulled by strings that he can't get out. He can't get out. He's trapped. He's depressed. And I love that. I love this cover telling a story to the listener. So next is Dream Theater Distance Over Time. Look at this cover. Look at this cover, man. I love how wide it is. I love the background. I love this android holding this skull. And at first, when I was looking at the album cover, first off back in February or January, when I was reacting to the new singles and everything like that, I said, wow, is this an actual concept album? But I just love the overall story they are telling on this album. The lyrics overall, I don't think are related to this album cover. Distance Over Time is just an amazing album itself. With that android holding the skull, it's definitely a big statement. And I just love it when Dream Theater do that. This is one of the best album covers of 2019, it is. You just got this feeling that maybe this album is going to deliver something that I never thought it would. And it did. The album cover is amazing. I just love also the Dream Theater logo, how it's in black. And at times it looks quite dark. So I just love the contrast between sad and happiness within this album. That's the way I feel when I look at this album cover. So coming in at number 6 is Shadow of Intent Melancholy. So this is a deathcore band, in case no one knows. But look at this album cover. This is basically a concept album, and the album cover itself tells that it's a concept album because there's just so much grim. You've got a person standing in front of a sort of a body of water. Maybe he's ready to jump. So you got these atmospheric vibes within this album cover. And you got the logo, which looks fucking amazing. Love the shading, love the contrast. And then you got this blood red moon in the distance, signaling that it's going to be a melancholy night for sure. Really love the gravestones in the background, like something big is going to happen. But overall, the album cover itself is stellar. Okay, so coming in at number 5 is Whitechapel the Valley. Oh, what an incredible album cover this is. It's the valley. The valley dips towards that eye. That eye is just so like a look of fear, like a child's eye. And look of fear, what is happening around him. That eye has that trepidation. Again, this album's telling a story all about Phil Bozeman's childhood. He went through a shit childhood. The way it's titled as well, The Valley, based on true events by Whitechapel. I love that wording, and I think it's one of the best, and I think it's just an absolutely brilliant album cover. The contrast, the red and black, amazing. And then you got that valley that's shaped like a V, and that represents valley, and I love that. So next is Abigail Williams, Walk Beyond the Dark. This is just a brilliant album cover, it is. You got this person, maybe it signals death, and then you got crazy contrasts of orange and red within the middle of this person's torso, and you have a person walking in the distance. It's an oil painting, and it might be the same artist for Mizmor as well this year. This is one of the best album covers, it is. How this person is covered in this cloak and the different colors on this album. It makes you want to listen to this album. I picked up this album and I said, wow, I have to listen to this album. Is this black metal? Is this what? Is this death metal? I was intrigued with what genre this was going to be. And I was pleasantly surprised at how good this album was. It's my favorite album of the year, Walk Beyond the Dark now. Coming hard and home now. Number 3 is Cattle Decapitation, Death Atlas. Look at the album cover. That you are intrigued with this album cover. You got this human skeleton that is holding a fiery burnt earth. And do you know this is all about human demise. And Cattle Decapitation again talk about the verb and how we are stuffing up the environment and everything, and about climate change and everything like that. But overall, you have this skeleton holding this scythe, and then you got the skeleton carrying the earth on its back. Absolutely an amazing album cover it is. And then you got the hourglass on the ground. It's telling me that you are wasting time, that time is at its end. I love the apocalyptic feel on this album cover. The logo looks fantastic. So finally, second spot is Thy Art Is Murder, Human Target. First of all, great album. I did a review as well for Thy Art Is Murder way back. And wow, this is brilliant. The contrast, the colors are amazing, and you got the logo Thy Art Is Murder. Absolutely fantastic. It got sort of a grinder or something like that, crushing the humans, and you got dead bodies everywhere. Brilliant album cover, brilliant story as well, and overall this album's very good as well. It's a deathcore album incorporating a few death metal elements, but I love this album. Humans are just laying there. Really reminds you of something like Cattle Decapitation. It's very political based. Once you look at this album, you'll wanna fucking hear the whole lot, because the album cover itself tells that story. It tells the theme of what this album is going to be about. Okay guys, so you're ready for the #1 album cover of the year in my opinion, and that is Magua, Age of Excuse. Now I keep mentioning these guys, and they deserve to be mentioned because they are a black metal band and they have some amazing album covers. In my opinion, this is the best album cover. It's like this individual is riding some sort of skeleton horse, and then you got people running towards this individual, and then you got this person holding like a spear, and this character itself is going like this. This might signal nihilism or something like that. Like he doesn't want to believe what is happening around him. He doesn't believe in life itself. And I love how this album is fucking telling a story as well. You just can't help but enjoy it. This is eye candy in my opinion. The contrast, the black and the white. The shading of this is just fantastic, just like a graveyard of bones. And I love that. Maybe it's signaling that humans are the cause of destruction. And I just love it how Magua are telling a story on this album cover. So in my opinion, it's the best album cover of the year. It is. Guys, comment below your album covers of the year, and comment below if you enjoyed this video as well. This is indeed the second last video of the year before I do that official rebrand on the channel. So yeah, so next video will be a very special one, so make sure you tune in for that. Comment below your favorite album covers. Also comment below whether you enjoyed this or not. So keep discussion going in the comment section below. Subscribe if you want, drop a like, and I'll see you in the next one.